We're doing Swinglish, Swedish words that have influenced languages around the world, especially English in this case.
Today's first word?
I was thinking of the word shrimp.
Shrimp.
Yeah,
is that a Swedish word? Shrimp fishers from the past.
Yeah, it comes from the old word skreppa, or the old Norse word skreppa, which means a very thin person.
When you call someone a shrimp in the derogatory way to make them feel bad, it's actually like an homage to the old Norse language skreppa.
Yeah,
telling them that they are sort of a thin person.
Is there any way not to call someone a shrimp in a derogatory fashion? It's like a compliment.
If I call you a thin person, you're like, yeah, that's right. But I could call you, you're a skreppa.
That's true.
Or a shrimp then in the modern sense.
Or I can say to someone that you're fast as a shrimp, which would be a good thing.
Fast as a thin person, yeah. Or a shrimp.
Yeah. Well, they're tasty anyway. And they're from
and weak.
Old Norse.
And thin.
Skreppa.
More aquatic words that have come from Swedish and gone into the English language. Gravlax.
Gravlax, yeah, that's tasty.
It's kind of weird because it's exactly the same in Swedish. You say gravlax or gravad lax. Jack Nicholson in this movie.
A dozen bagels, a pound of Gravlax, and what kind of ice cream do you have?
He says that?
Yeah, he says, we just heard it in the clip I just...
Yeah, of course, yes. Magics of editing.
But he pronounces it Gravlax.
Looks like Chrissy's really enjoying my Gravlax.
Sort of Americanization of it.
But I think I've heard Americans call it lux. Or is it called salmon?
No, salmon is the English word for lux. And grav, it's kind of interesting. Grav is a burial. When you bury a dead person, you put them in a grave, and that's grav. And that's the old way to make gravlax. You bury the fish in the ground to ferment.
Yeah. In Swedish you say grava when you ferment things, or you cure them actually in different substances and whatever and not only salmon, you can do it with other things too.
Are you grave serious about this?
No, I'm making half of it up as I go. So it's a buried salmon.
Exactly.
Gravlax or
Gravlax.
Is grave a Swinglish word?
I think so. You're gravely mistaken if you don't think so.
Exactly. Good one there. So do we have any more aquatic themes of Swinglish? Swedish words that have influenced the English language?
Maybe if we look at your notes.
Geyser.
Geyser. Yeah, that's aquatic. Well, it's above ground, but...
Geyser is obviously from Iceland, not surprisingly. But it's an old Norse word then.
And it's still called the same today. We also have another word, a weapon at the same time. It's a weaponized word. Knife.
Knife, yeah. A knife is kind of interesting because if you look, it's spelled knife, knife.
Yeah, knife.
You can start to wonder, where does that come from? And we have the answer.
Pronunciation is the same as knot, which comes from the old Swedish word knut, but it's spelled K-N-U-T. And the same with knife. It comes from the old Norse word knifr, which means knife.
Yeah, and today we say kniv.
Yeah.
We modernized it from knifr to kniv.
As with many old words, we changed the F to a V when V became a modern letter to use.
We have the famous tungurkniver.
Oh, yes. Anyone who grew up in our age was looking at old Viking films, and there weren't that many that time.
The raven flies.
Yeah, the raven flies.
Check this out.
Þungur hnífur. Þessi hnífur á að vera þungur.
Þungur hnífur.
Yeah. Swinglish words. We have band.
Band.
Eller band in Swedish. Yeah. It's an old... band is an old Norse word for rope.
Yeah.
Today, when you say band in Swedish, you mean a flat rope or a flat string. Maybe if you're wrapping a present or a gift, you have a ribbon, a band.
Yeah.
Then we have the rock band and that kind of band of brothers. Lägg band på dig själv. Put some restraints on yourself. Cast. You know, when you cast a spell.
Yeah.
It's come from the old Norse word kasta, which means throw.
Yep.
And you can cast in other ways. You can go out fishing, casting a lure and stuff like that. One thing is kind of interesting because when you cast a spell, you use a wand, a magical wand.
And that comes from Old Norse too, or what?
Wand is an Old Norse word for rod. And there you have the magical rod, the magical wand.
You cast a spell, kasta.
You use the Old Norse vonder to kasta. You use the wand to cast a spell.
Yeah, cool.
And when you do that, you have to think Swedish.
Two old words in one sentence. Nej, det kommer inte på någonting. Fy fan varmt det blev med hatten.